YouTube, what's good? Welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving 10,000 hours worth of advice when it comes to dropshipping. If you guys are new here and don't know who I am, my name is Kevin Martins. I've been in this space for the last 2 years now, and I've done over 7 figures in total revenue. And I've done this all without having to waste a single cent on ad spend and keeping anywhere from 50 to 70% profit margins. And so in this video, I'm going to go ahead and explain some of the most valuable lessons that I've learned since the beginning of my journey. I was actually journaling this morning, and I was just writing everything down. I was like, you know what, this would be a perfect video for me to make because my younger self would have loved this, right? Things to avoid, things to do, and stuff that's really gonna just move the needle, right? So the first thing that I'm gonna be talking about here is focusing on your own journey, right? Don't compare yourself to people that are on chapter 10 when you're just on chapter 1, okay? And comparison should be something positive in your life. Comparison to me now is something that I take as inspiration, right? I like to compare myself to people that are closer to my goal rather than use comparison as something that is going to take something away from me and just bring me down, right? Because right now, at this very moment, you're either on chapter 1, 2, 3, or maybe you're on chapter 10. You're an absolute G making 7 figures a month and you're still watching my videos. Welcome. But most of you guys are right here, right in the beginning stages of your journey, and you're comparing yourself to people that have been in the space for the last 10 years, making the money that you wish you could make in just like a week. But it's just not simply like that, right? This is a game of longevity. E-com is something that a lot of people see as a side hustle to make a really quick bag, but in reality, it should be something like a marathon where you're trying to stay in the game for as long as possible. And so when you start visualizing the game from more of a longevity standpoint and looking up to people that are hitting these crazy months and using it as inspiration to almost show you that it's actually possible, then that's when comparison becomes something good. I live in Miami, okay? I live in the most chaotic city in the world where I'm seeing like millionaires every single solitary day. I'm seeing SVJs going up and down the road. I'm seeing 16-year-olds that are making $100,000 a month. And it's absolutely crazy, and I love it because I see that as a very competitive atmosphere for me to go like harder, right? And you know, again, using comparison as something positive rather than something negative. I'm 24 years old. There's kids out there that are making way more money than me, that are way younger than me, and what, I'm just gonna be like sad about it? I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I'm such a fucking bitch, I'm so old. Fuck no, bro. I'm gonna use that as motivation and keep on trying to get better, okay? So that's my first point there. We're not gonna spend too much time on it because I think you guys get the gist. Number 2 is gonna be speed is everything in this game. The faster you can execute an idea, the quicker you'll get data, okay? With more data, you'll progress quicker since you'll know exactly where to go. And so I feel like this is a data type of game, right? You're collecting data every single solitary day because you either find out something works or you figure out that something just didn't do shit and you move on and you pivot, right? And so a good example here is gonna be posting consistently and testing new concepts, okay? So whether you're posting videos organically, whether you're launching a new campaign on your Facebook Manager, right? It's all about speed here. Because if you're lagging on posting your first video, launching your first campaign, people are gonna walk all over you, right? And also, you're not gonna be able to just collect data because if you don't post that video, if you don't launch that ad, you'll never make money, okay? And you'll never really see where you need to go. So for example, if you're a complete beginner, you post your first 10 to 20 videos, you see that all of them do shit but one. One video was an outlier. One video got you 100,000, views with 500 demand comments. That's actually an insane ratio. And so you would know to double down on that concept and do more of that stuff. And so if you didn't post that volume, those 20 videos consistently, then you would have never come to that consensus. And so that's why I tell all of you, right? Even my students in my program, post 2 to 4 videos a day so you get data, so you get feedback a lot quicker, so you know exactly where to go. Because if you're only posting 1 video a day, right, and you're taking your time and you're over analyzing absolutely everything in the business and you're not fucking posting, then you're gonna move like an absolute slug, okay? The results are almost guaranteed, okay? But the speed in which you get the results varies. It varies on the person, and that applies with paid dropshipping, organic dropshipping, whatever you're doing in life. Speed is absolutely crucial to just see where you need to go. And so this is something that happened to me. At first, when I first started my organic dropshipping journey, I would post 1 video a day because it had to be absolutely perfect or else I wouldn't post it. And I think that's like, something that was not wrong with me in the beginning. I think a lot of you like to overanalyze everything, especially if you're a little bit of a smarter person, right? We tend to analyze a lot of different things. I'm not saying I'm smart, by the way. I didn't go to college. I just have a GED in high school. But what I'm saying is just post more volume. Start posting, even if it's not perfect, post it, right? So you get data quicker and you know exactly where to go. So yeah, that's gonna be the second principle here that I learned. Speed is absolutely everything in this game. And you got to start just being a little bit more consistent, launching more ads every single day, testing more ad formats every single day, and just posting, bro. Just being a man of action rather a man that just overanalyzes absolutely everything and doesn't get shit done. Okay, I believe in the law of fucking getting shit done. Okay, so get shit done. Do a little bit of retard maxing. If you don't know what that is, look it up. And stop thinking so goddamn much. Okay, start executing. Start being a little bit more dumb. If you're a smart guy, which I'm assuming a lot of you guys watching this video are, tone it down a bit. Just tone it down a bit. Stop overanalyzing. Just post the video and get some data. All right. Third thing that I'm going to be talking about here is eliminating distractions that aren't moving the needle. So most of you want to add more things to your life, but most of the time it's about removing the bullshit so you can move forward. Okay, and most importantly, focus, because focus to me, right, is the elimination of distractions. Okay, most of you live a crazy, chaotic life, and that was me at one point in time. I remember I would wake up, doom scroll for 2 hours. Okay, I would fucking doom scroll max, and then after that, I would go ahead and make breakfast, and then after breakfast, I would call my friend, and I would call my girlfriend, and I would text the group chat, and I would look at the memes, and then by the time it was like 2 p.m. right? I would go to the gym, I would come back, make lunch, then dinner, and then I only have 30 minutes to an hour to do a little bit of work. And by that time, my fucking brain is absolutely fried because all my dopamine receptors are cooked, right? And so simplifying your life could be one of the biggest needle moving things possible. For example, if you guys watch my videos, you guys see that I'm always wearing a white shirt. I wear the same shirt every day. Yes, I wash it, I'm not disgusting, and I have multiple variations of the same white shirt, okay? But I don't want to be spending any brain points on deciding what I'm going to wear today, okay? Because I'm using my brain points to really just focus on the business and move the needle, right? So you got to look at this from, again, this perspective right here. The guy that's at this position right here that's making 7 figures a month is a lot more ahead than the guy that's just starting, obviously. But do you think that this guy is fucking around 24/7 doom scrolling for 8 hours? Probably fucking not, right? So you need to start thinking this from a logical perspective of like, who do I need to become to be able to be worthy of this money? And so when I started asking myself these very crucial questions, I was like, well, the version of Kevin that's making $100,000 a month probably isn't doom scrolling for 4 hours right off rip, right, when I wake up. He's also probably not calling half of the fucking town just to see what the word is, okay? And then most importantly, I started just dropping a whole bunch of shit that didn't really move the needle. And one of the main things that I stopped doing was gaming, right? I was probably one of the most hardcore Call of Duty gamers of all time. I had a 4.5 KD, Master Prestige. I was Platinum 5 on Modern Warfare. Look that shit up. I was fucking cracked. And, I played all the Call of Duties possible, okay? I was literally obsessed. I think that's actually why I think I'm so good at business, because I've almost kind of gamified my life to just progress in this game of business rather than just some random digital game. Which is another topic which I can make another video about that, why most people cope with video games because they're not progressing in their real life. But moral of the story is, right, I essentially cut that shit off to go all in on business. And so I started using that very competitive drive that I had from Call of Duty and started fucking crushing it in business, showing up every single day and really moving the needle, right? And so again, I removed that big vice that I had at that very time, which I'm not saying gaming is bad, but for me it was like really unhealthy. And, I just started simplifying my life. So where now I wake up, I shower, I eat some breakfast, I work for 4 hours straight. After work, I go for a walk, I go back, I work again, then I go to the gym, then I eat dinner, then I work a little bit more, and I go to bed, right? I live a very simple life. Most of you might be, this is fucking terrible. How can you live a life like that? But I enjoy it, okay? And if you don't understand where I'm coming from, I don't expect you to, bro. I'm a little bit weird, but welcome to this channel, okay? So yeah, that's gonna be that right there. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna be talking about here is everything in this life is your fault, okay? The situation that you're in right now is completely your fault. So stop blaming exterior reasons to why you're not in the position that you want to be in, okay? And this is something that is heavy, bro. This took me a while to actually understand, because I would always blame my hometown. I would blame my upbringing. I would blame the government on why I'm not making money. And I'm here to tell you right now that whether Trump gets fucking elected or not, it's not going to change your situation much, okay? You are the one that has full control of your future, okay? Nobody here is here to save you, all right? And that's something that fucking sucks, right? You think that people are here to save you and that people have the best interest for you, and most of the time they fucking don't, right? Humans are very fucking egotistical. We only really care about ourselves. And when you start to learn that, no one's here to save you, okay? And so whether it's good or bad, whether you are happy about where you're at and you're like, yes, I did this myself, everything that I did up to this date is because of me, then congratulations. That's an awesome feeling. But if you're in the position right now where you're not happy and you're blaming the fucking president to why you're not successful, then I'm sorry, but you're not gonna make it, okay? You're the only one that can change your life. It doesn't even matter if you were born in a shitty neighborhood where there's really no opportunity to get even Wi-Fi. There's a way of making it happen, okay? There's a way. There is literally so many ways for you to get rich in this life, and you blaming your upbringing, you blaming the country that you live in, you blaming the president, the taxes, the tariffs, what are you saying, bro? I'm sorry, but again, nobody here is here to save you, okay? And you have full responsibility in everything that you do, the life that you want to live, and this took me a while to understand. And so I vividly remember this. At one point in time, I was 17 years old and I couldn't open up a bank account, and I wanted to start making money. I wanted to start doing drop shipping, but to create a Shopify, you need to connect a social security number. And I was 17 years old. I wasn't old enough to be eligible to sign up for Shopify. And so what did I do? I asked my dad, he said no. And so I was like, all right, well, I still want to make money. What's another option? And so I discovered reselling. So reselling was my first ever business model, and I was doing everything with cash. And so I learned to make money another way when, the bank just didn't let me make a bank account. And so at that very time, I could have just cried about it and be like, oh, I can't make money until I'm 18. I'm just gonna wait another year to get started, or I'm gonna fucking find another way to do it and make it happen. And so that's just one example that I did, right? That I went through. And it's crazy because I made money with the reselling. I was actually making some pretty good money, bro. I was making like $3,000 a month as a 17-year-old, bro. I was printing. And then with that money, I started paid ads and just burnt it all. And then that's why I started doing organic. But yeah, that's gonna be another example right there. And now we're gonna move on to the next one, okay? And this one's really, really big. So this one's gonna be have a bigger vision and focus on longevity. Okay, so going back to what I was saying about the business model, that this is more of a longevity game rather than like a get rich quick game. Creating brands instead of pump and dumps, learning real skills that will get you paid for life, and being in the game for the longest rather than for the short term. Okay, so 3 main points. First one we're gonna go over is creating real brands. Okay, and this is something that I love to do. And if you're on this channel, this is probably something that we resonate with, or else you wouldn't be on my For You page, or I wouldn't be on your For You page. But I think that creating a brand, creating a name for yourself is something that's gonna get you paid for life. Whether it's a personal brand, whether it's a product, whether it's an info product, supplement product, digital product, whatever it may be, brands optimize for longevity rather than just what's trending right now and how can I make the quickest amount of money possible, but not be around for the next month to continue doing it consistently, right? And I think there's 2 paths that you can take in life. You could be the type of guy that's just gonna do this, be a one-hit wonder, maybe make like $100K a month, and then the next month go back to 0. Or you can be the guy to really learn some very, very valuable skills that are gonna get you paid consistently every single month. And something that I learned is creating a brand, creating a name for myself that people can always look at and be like, all right, this is Kevin. This is what I connect him with. And every time I want more of it, I'm just gonna go to him, right? And it's gonna apply for products, supplements, whatever it may be. And having a genuine brand presence is gonna keep you alive in a world of fucking competitors, okay? So I'm sure that you're running a certain product, you're running a certain brand, you have a million competitors, but the guys that stay on top are the ones with real brands. Because at the end of the day, everyone can get your supplement sourced, everyone can source the same product as you, and they can drop ship it. And we live in a world where that's actually possible. And so the main way to combat that and not having to restart every single month because you got 10 competitors on you is by starting a brand, right? Because now people, when they see you being copied, right, they're gonna go to that guy and be like, bro, why are you trying to copy off of Kevin, right? Like, this is him, what are you doing? And so you really start taking over the whole entire market. And that's what I did for one of my brands. And it worked phenomenally, right? I hopped on this product, I branded it off rip, had like 20 competitors by the next month, and I was still on top. I was still on top by a long shot, bro, because I had such a big fan base of people that knew who I was, right? Who my brand was, that they would just comment on their posts and be like, bro, fuck this guy. Like, why are you trying to copy Kevin? And it just worked in my favor, right? And this can apply to all vectors of life, essentially. So I would say branding is massive. Like, why do you think Nike can just slap a logo on just a random white shirt and still charge $40 because of the brand, right? So yeah, that's really important. That's going to be a very important point right there. Next thing I'm going to talk about right here, the other point was, being in the game for the longest rather than the short term, right? This is a question I ask all my students, like, do you want to be around for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Or do you want to be around for just the next couple of months, right? And it's a very simple question that you should be asking yourself when you're starting, right? Like, what's the long-term vision? What is the long-term play? And once you have your why and your vision, hold it close to you and stick with it forever, okay? And then, going back to what I was saying, learning real skills that will get you paid for life, right? The skill of organic marketing, the skill of running ads, the skill of finding new concepts, new marketing angles, ICPs, really doing deep niche research. Those are skills that are going to evidently translate to money in your bank account, right? So the more skills you have, the more you'll get paid, right? This can apply to all vectors of life, even a doctor, right? The top doctors get paid the most because they have the most amount of skills. They have the most amount of skill sets, right? Maybe a doctor can only do, a lung transplant, but then there's another doctor that can do a lung transplant, a heart transplant, a brain transplant, and he's really good, right? And so again, why do you think doctors get paid a lot of money? Why do you think scientists get paid a lot of money? Because they have very useful skill sets. All right, I just erased some of the whiteboard. The next point here that we're gonna be going over is do not rely on competition to make you money, okay? And this is a simple question. Do you wanna be a pioneer or do you wanna just do what everybody else is doing, right? Don't be afraid to test new products, new concepts, and new niches that have never been done before. And this is something that really changed everything for me because, in the beginning, all I was doing is copying because I didn't have a skill set. I didn't know how to go viral. I didn't know what concepts converted the most. I didn't know what niches were the best. And at that time, I really didn't have another choice but to copy. But there's gonna come a point in your journey where you're gonna have to be a pioneer and start thinking outside the box to get those outside of the box results. Because if you wanna be the exception, right, you have to be exceptional. You have to be a little bit different, okay? And at that very time, I remember there was a certain product that was going viral. Everybody was running it. And I was like, you know what, bro? I feel like this product could be marketed towards a certain demographic, we could add a spin to this marketing angle. And I did it, bro. And I was the first one to that angle. And I remember, bro, I blew up off rip because that product already had validation. We knew it made money, but everyone was doing the same gosh damn angle, okay? But the moment I changed the angle, started targeting a completely different group of people with that winning product, I started going super viral. Another good example as well was I was making about $20,000 to $30,000 a month. And I was like, bro, how can I scale past this? So I started looking into custom products. And so I actually ended up making my own product, introducing it into the marketplace and being the first one to go viral with it, and I blew up. And the best part about it is that you couldn't even source this product if you wanted to. And so I had no competition, okay? And I had, bro, like the barrier to entry to even start this product was insane. Like you gotta put at least like 2 bands to even get started on it. And this is something that I was willing to do in the beginning because I had the capital that I built up from doing a couple of pump and dumps in the beginning. But then I told myself, if I really want to move the needle, start hitting those consistent 50, 60K months, I got to start doing something different. So that's why I started creating my own custom products. Then I started going branding, custom packaging, custom tags, to where I really had no competitors, right? And so going back to what I said earlier, right, when people were trying to copy me, because at one point in time, my supplier screwed me over, started posting my custom products on AliExpress, and then people started dropshipping my shit, they still wouldn't buy from them because they knew it came from me, okay? So again, that's the power of not only being a pioneer, but branding and the protection that you get when you really start a crazy brand. And so piggybacking off of that too, bro, a lot of you, like I said, just do the same shit that other people are doing. Like, especially if you're doing organic dropshipping, you're only doing the burner method and you're just copying competitors when it comes to niches, products, concepts, whatever it may be. There's only so much money that you're gonna be able to make because you're just genuinely making the crumbs. There's probably 8 to 10 people doing the same thing as you, and there's gonna be a ceiling of money that can be made, right? And so why not be creative? Why not think outside the box, introduce new products, introduce new niches, and be first to market and make all the money, right? So yeah, that's gonna be the other point right there. And then the last one, okay, just to wrap it up, never stop learning, okay? Stop being so freaking stubborn. Even if you're advanced, even if you've done 7 figures with organic, e-com, whatever it may be, you need to drop the ego, okay? You don't know shit. And even at my level, right, I still don't know a lot of things. And that's awesome because that motivates me to wake up every single morning and get after it, okay, and learn more. But you'll never learn it all, okay? And a lot of you have this ego thing where every time, you know, you want to learn something new, or you want to maybe get a mentor, or even just try something else out, you're like, oh, I'm too good for this shit. Like, I don't need to do all that, right? But I'm telling you, the biggest bottleneck that I had that took me from $50,000 a month to $100,000 a month was my ego. Okay, I dropped the ego. Okay, I started to be like, all right, I don't know shit. I'm gonna sit down here and learn it. And then once I learned it, I started making more money, right? And a lot of you have a crazy ego, and it's totally normal. Okay, it's totally normal when you're making money with organic and you're making money with e-com. But you gotta drop it, bro, because there's always something that you can improve on, because you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And there's always somebody else doing it better than you. And it's always best to continue learning to eventually get to that point, or even better, right? That'd be the best case scenario. So again, the number one thing here is don't stop learning, okay? Don't stop learning ever, okay? Whether you're advanced, a beginner, intermediate, don't stop learning. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna end the video off here. As you guys can tell, I barely even use the whiteboard. So I think next video, I'm gonna do more of a sit down video, talking in tech style. But let me know if you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys want more of it. If so, just drop a like. That's how you show support on this channel. Maybe drop a sub, do all that YouTube stuff. Also, if you guys do want to work with me one-on-one and get started with organic AI dropshipping, you guys can go ahead and apply in the description below. We've been absolutely crushing it. Let me just pull up my phone, bro. Let me see what the students have been doing recently. Dude, we've been having some crazy wins. So currently in the wins chat right now, you guys can see this. I don't know if you can see this, but this is John here. He joined about a month ago. He's up 5K today. Absolutely crazy. Right here, this is Patrick, 3K day with his new brand. This was yesterday, by the way. What else do we have? We have Trey. He actually just copped his first ever apartment with all the money that he made from e-com, which is crazy. Nice little pad right there. I love it. I love it. Shout out Trey, bro. This guy's a fucking killer. We also have John here, new product, 1K day. Samantha absolutely cooking. Money Bash, bro, 3K day. I think this kid's like 17, bro. He's so young. We even have Gurinder, 2K day right here. And I think we had a pretty crazy one a couple of days ago. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, bro, my new student here, 9 days into the mentorship, bro. Do you guys see that? $27,000 day. Which is crazy, bro. Shout out my boy Ayur, all the way from Russia, bro. Fucking 27K day after 9 days of joining the mentorship. And it just keeps on going. Just keeps on going. Even Martin, he just joined 13 days ago, and he's already doing 1K days. So yeah, if you guys are interested, go ahead and apply in the description below. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.